At 6, a tanker truck goes up in flames near the tech center, spilling 1,000 gallons of fuel and oil all over a busy I-25. This massive fire spread to both sides of the interstate, causing major backups for drivers. This is a view from Air Tracker 7, and when you see that ball of flames and all that smoke, it's unbelievable no one died out there. And if that doesn't give you a clear picture, take a look at these images. Our cameras are rolling on every single angle of this fire. Some of you even witnessed this fire firsthand and sent us this incredible video from the ground. And as we mentioned, the rush hour drive home still being impacted from this, with so many people having to find new routes home tonight. This is a live look right now. This is at Orchard, where crews are still on scene. And we have team coverage for you tonight, starting with Shannon Ogden, who's live near the accident scene tonight. Shannon?
Good evening, Ann. Good evening, everybody. Just over my left shoulder is what's left of that tanker that exploded 6 hours ago, and there it sits 6 hours later on a still empty northbound lanes of Interstate 25 at the Tech Center. Very quickly at the top of the broadcast, Jacqueline Allen, Executive Director of CDOT, is here. Two important questions. When does northbound open, first of all?
We're still waiting to evaluate that. As you can see, that vehicle is melted down into the pavement. We've been waiting for it to get to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Once that gets to that point, we'll be able to assess the damage to the pavement. We're going to crank all night and try to get this open by morning.
And last question, I'd heard maybe even a foot, maybe a little more pavement's melted away.
Yeah, that's what we're going to wait to assess. There's 14 inches of asphalt in the roadway here, so it's just a question of how much of that is melted, where is it melted, and how long is it going to take us to get that back.
All right, good luck. Good luck. A long night ahead. We appreciate what you've done so far. Jacqueline Allen, Executive Director of CDOT. Now, chances are, whether you were here at the time, whether you live or work anywhere near this area, this story impacts you, and we tonight will explain what happened and help you get through all the things this impacts, and it impacts a lot. We begin our exhaustive team coverage with Jacqueline Allen, who has been here since the very beginning this noon hour. Jacqueline?
We've been watching from this side of the highway. You can see the tanker is still there, and the damage that it did burned so hot it just decimated that median. We've been watching firefighters get up on top of it and spray foam down inside. Now, while some of these southbound lanes, 3 of the southbound lanes are back open, as you heard him say, those northbound lanes could be closed for hours, and you have to see this video taken just moments after that tanker crash. Take a look at this. A viewer sent us this clip, and you can see the driver jumping out of the passenger side. He's rolling on the ground, trying to put out the flames that were on his clothes. Pretty quickly, a Good Samaritan comes up and helps him get up and get away. Now, he was taken to the hospital. He was able to walk away, but we don't know his condition right now. This crash happened just before noon, when CDOT says the fuel tanker lost a tire on the highway, lost control, crashing into the median between Bellevue and Orchard. And take a look at what happened moments later. Witnesses report a series of explosions, the flames, smoke shooting about 12 stories into the air. We talked to one witness on the 12th floor who watched the accident happen from his office and saw road workers running to help.
Luckily, they're able to get his leg out of on fire very quickly. And from there, the guy looked like he was out of breath or just trying to gather himself. And the other road worker luckily grabbed him, supported him, and got him out of harm's way.
A really amazing situation here. The highway closure trapped people in their cars and brought Denver to a standstill. And while things are moving here on the southbound side, CDOT is recommending that people stay out of this area because, again, it's going to be a traffic nightmare, an epic traffic nightmare, as they called it, for quite some time. Reporting live, Jacqueline Allen, Denver 7.
Jacqueline, thank you for that, for all your work today. Southbound's moving. There is some action on the northbound side. I very quickly want to show you. They're bringing in machinery to start scraping the foam off the interstate. And now, for the very first time, some signs that things may be shifting into gear. A tow truck, a very large tow truck has arrived, and that is the first we've seen of this. So this has really presented firefighters with some very tricky situations today. First of all, extinguishing a fire that is burning fuel. Sally Mamdou has the efforts of the firefighters today. Sally?
Like you said it, Shannon, this was very tricky, difficult fire to fight here. 35 firefighters were out here today battling this fire. And of course, we've learned it was 1,000 gallons of mixed oil and gas. Now, this is how they all did it. They first decided to let it burn, but that wasn't predictable, because it would mean it would take a couple of hours, and they wanted this part of the highway back open, so they wanted to expedite the process, so they moved on to Plan B. Plan B was to call the airport rescue truck to help put foam on the fuel, but at the same time, they wanted to make sure that that foam and fuel doesn't go into the drainage system nearby and cause an environmental issue. So firefighters here built a dam to isolate that fuel. Then they brought in a dirt truck to soak up that fuel and shovel it out of the highway, which is what they have been doing all day today. Now, also, firefighters had a challenge accessing water because highways, as we all know, don't have fire hydrants, so they stretched their hose to a fire hydrant. Take a listen.
And the fire trucks that you see up there carry anywhere between 300 and 750 gallons. That goes very fast. So what you may be able to notice is a long stretch of hose from those fire trucks down the ramp to another fire truck that's pumping water from a fire hydrant down on Orchard Road.
Certainly lots of work that we appreciate, and as you can see, the results of that work. So it's a very job well done for these firefighters today. Also, when you look at this scene here, when you look at all of these fire trucks, when I look at this broken concrete across the street from me, I just can't imagine, Shannon, that only just one person walked away with injuries, and we're learning that he is recovering tonight. So it's a miracle that nobody else was hurt in this. Shannon?
Could have been much, much worse. Sally, thank you for that and for all your work today. We're back here live on the northbound side of I-25. The tow truck just arrived. Executive Director of CDOT said they had to get the wreckage cooled down to 140 degrees before the tow truck could come in, and it looks like they are close, if not already there, and can start to get that wreckage out of there. Jennifer Kovaleski continues our team coverage, talking with CDOT today about the incredible work that agency has to get things open here.
Shannon, they have a lot of work ahead of them. We also learned that CDOT's maintenance workers, the one who pulled that driver, the truck driver, out of the car, very remarkable. We're still learning more about that in his name, but we also got an update from CDOT about the roads and want to walk you through this diagram that really kind of shows you what's going on. Those 3 southbound lanes, as you've heard, 5, 4, and 3, are open on I-25. The 5 northbound lanes remain closed down. It sounds like they're getting close to potentially starting to open lanes 4 and 5. Their goal was to have that done by 6, but the investigation and the cleanup has lasted longer than they thought. So when these will reopen is still out there, but their hope is to do that at some point tonight. The other big question is just how much damage there is to this road. And is it structurally sound? CDOT says they are still trying to determine how much asphalt they'll need to repair this road, but it could take up to 100 tons of asphalt, depending on how far the fire burned down in the asphalt on the road. They hope to do this work overnight. We also learned 250,000 cars drive on this stretch of I-25 every day. So anyone trying to get out of downtown tonight is asked to avoid the area and prepare for backups all over the city. Now back here at CDOT headquarters, CDOT tells us that they hope to have all 5 lanes, so 10 lanes in both directions, open by tomorrow's morning rush hour, but it will all depend on how bad that damage is and how quickly they can get the road patched. Now, Denver 7 traffic reporter Jason Luber has been monitoring traffic all afternoon. Jason, how's it looking now?
Well, Jennifer, obviously it's a very bad situation on the side streets and sounds counterintuitive, but I'm actually going to tell you, if you're leaving downtown, to use I-25. It's only heavy from Hamden going through that scene. It's the side streets that are really bad, and with northbound still closed, I'm going to suggest if you can go far out to the west, like using Wadsworth is a great way to get around it, because Broadway, Santa Fe, and University are awful right now, and all the roads in the Denver Tech Center are gummed up pretty badly, an hour's commute there. So I would say Buckley or Chambers out to the east are also great ways to get around this. It will help you get away from this traffic jam a little bit faster. Of course, will it all open tomorrow morning? I'll have all those details, of course, at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Jace Larson has been checking into the light rail because we've had problems with the light rail earlier today. Jace, it looks like it's up and running, though, and that might be a good option here today.
Yes, it was up and running just before rush hour actually occurred today. That was after it was shut down for 3 hours. As the fire raged and traffic was blocked, a police officer thought that he saw damage to the light rail power lines. Well, that caused concern about reopening the E, F, and R lines once the firefighters had knocked down the flames. Scott Carney took this video from an RTD train that was going by the fire early on. You can see the black smoke that the train goes through.
Our teams, they took a high rail vehicle out and inspected it and found that there was no damage to the rail or the overhead catenary system.
RTD anticipated finding no problems, so it had trains staged and ready to go back into service right away. As viewers watched the firefighting efforts from the pedestrian bridge, the first trains started running again about 3:15.
So I think it got up and running a little quicker than what we were expecting today.
You know, it didn't take these crews long. Only about 20 minutes for them to get all of the trains up and running on their regular schedule. And as I mentioned, that's because they anticipated that there wasn't going to be damage, so they had trains on both sides of the closure ready to go. They knew that that was really the only way you were going to get through there.
Thank goodness, yeah. The only thing we've got is we see a light rail train go there. Jace Larson tonight, thank you very much. Jacqueline, Sally, Jen, Jason, and Jace. It's a heck of a team we've got covering this story for you tonight. I want to direct you, as I toss back to Ann, we have a pretty good photo collection from what happened today. Thanks to the viewers. Keep the photos coming and check them out yourself at thedenverchannel.com for the free Denver 7 app. And
yeah, we will be showing those here in just a bit. Thanks. Good work out there, Shannon.